I'm a mom of two. My son is 9 and my daughter will be 2 in November. I'm a part of the single moms group with our MAPI. I've been with them from the beginning. I'm not sure how many years it's been now, but it's been a while. Oh, 4 years, 4. So I was really excited when I was asked to be here and speak because my passion is advocating and working with single moms. Becoming a single mom myself when I had my son, like he's 9 now, like I said, I found myself in the cycle of poverty, which is a cycle that I grew up in, right? And I'm pretty sure my mom thought she was doing her best, that she was shielding us from that, that she was hiding it from us, but you can't hide lights being turned off, right? You can't hide watching your mom not eat while you and your sister sit at the table and eat, right? So I knew what was going on. And when I got pregnant with my son and had my son, I was in the same cycle, and I knew that I wanted to get myself out of that cycle so that my son would not have to experience the same things that I did as a child. But it took some time, right? It took hard work, and there were many times where I didn't have enough to pay all of the bills, and I did have to choose which bills are most important, right? I mean, they're all important, but I need to just keep a roof over our head. I needed my car so I can get him where he needed to go, and I needed to be able to feed him, right? So there were months where I found myself deciding which bills am I gonna pay this month, right? And the other ones, we'll just figure it out when I get the money to do it. That doesn't feel good as a parent, right? It doesn't feel good to know that I cannot fully provide everything that I need to provide for my child. But what I did was, I'm very good at finding resources. Like Isaiah said, there are many resources in Rochester, but I do feel like you have to know how to find them. Sometimes you have to be connected to the right people. Also, you have to have thick skin to be able to make it through the process, because some of the system can be difficult, right? And some of the resources that are out there, I know my experiences with them has been kind of sometimes being made to feel like I'm less than because I need help, right? And so I think about the parents that maybe don't know about the resources, or they get overwhelmed when they're trying to get through those systems, and then that can leave them in that cycle. But I was able to find the resources that I needed, like WIC and DHS and SNAP. One of the more recent ones that I used was the Path Forward program, which really helped me to be able to get ahead with paying my mortgage when I ran into some tough times. And so one of the things that I would want everyone to take away from my story is that it's important to think about the whole child, right? So we can think about basic needs. We need to feed them. We need to make sure they have clothing, make sure they have shelter, but there's more to it than that. One of the things that was important for me was that my son would have the opportunity to participate in extracurricular activities, which cost money, right? And there were years where I was not able to do that because I was so worried about paying my bills, but I think every child deserves to have the opportunity to participate in enriching activities. And so I think about the whole child, right? It's not just about their basic needs, but it's about giving them experiences and opportunities, and also them being able to be raised and loved by a mom that's not stressed, right? A dad that's not stressed. And when we think about poverty, it is stressful, right? And many times our mental health can be so bad just because we're struggling to financially take care of our children. So I just want you all to think about taking care of the whole child and not only focusing on those basic needs.
My name is Sabrina Miller, but I'm here to speak on one of the situations I'm currently going through. Is money not meeting for me and my daughter, or wondering like each week or month, like if I should even buy food for us. I always have to pick like week by week, picking what bills to pay. I went to DSS, but in my situation, my landlord don't have a C of O on my house. So now I can't get rental assistance, and now most of the houses for rent, they want 3 times the amount just to move in, and minimum wage is only $15 an hour. these landlords, they're money hungry but refuses to fix our houses. And then the houses that are fixed are $1,500 per month. And like my situation right now is daycare. I'm struggling putting my daughter in school. I'm struggling trying to find somebody day by day, trying to put her into school. And it's not helping. I reached out to Center for Youth and CRC for help, and both places are a huge help. It's huge support system through everything. But they can only help with so much. But one piece of advice I can give is I just gotta keep fighting and we're gonna make it out of poverty.
Like Danielle's story, you know, I grew up in poverty as well. So my situation was a little different. How I became in poverty, I was stricken with illness, and then eventually had my son. So now I'm technically disabled. I couldn't receive, or Social Security would not allow me to receive services, and I had to fight for that. And essentially, I needed to rely on DHS. And by the time I was able to get my Social Security, DHS took their money. So now, here I am trying to figure out what to do with what's left. I had bills to pay, I had to get a car now, and that took up the majority of the money. So as time progressed, when my son became of age to go to school, I decided, well, I don't want to stay in this predicament anymore. Yes, I'm disabled. However, I need to get out there and figure out what I'm going to do with my life. So I took advantage of REOC, which is a free program, and I was able to get a trade to become a cosmetologist. However, at that point, I still had to use the system to get off the system. Only because, and it sucks to say, like, you kind of had to lie a little bit, because at the time they weren't allowing you to go to school and receive daycare, or go to school and receive services. So I'm grateful to see that they're shifting things a little bit, but there's still people that are being denied, because there are the working poor who, you know, still struggling with the basic needs. However, I do like the idea of the guaranteed basic income. I hope that they progress with that, because as we see, like, a lot of families need money. But then in addition to that, they need literacy, because when you grow up in poverty, you don't know how to handle it when you get it, you know? So I feel like if we can focus more on programs that's gonna help assist, but then at the same time, give them education so they know how to at least come out of their situation and move forward, because some people are hopeless. They don't see any light at the end of the tunnel, you know? So I feel like if somebody can pour into them, even give them some form of mentorship, like, you can do this. Just like myself, you know, being able to enter into a new tax bracket because I pushed myself despite my physical limitations. And now I'm reaping the rewards from it. But I feel like for the community to be able to trust elected officials, they have to continue to hold truth to what they have to show what they're doing and how it's helping the community. And then, because, you know, the thing was, okay, yes, we need to vote, right? But a lot of people lost hope in voting because they haven't seen change. So I think collectively, community resources need to come together, because like she stated, I didn't know about a lot of the resources out there. I just found out about one recently that I never knew could assist the people around me. But me as a community member, I have to get that information and then spread it out to the people, so that way we all can be informed. But a lot of resources are out there, but nobody knows about them. Also, I would recommend that at DHS that they have like some type of transitional funding. So, because if you make $1 more over the income, now you lost your services, and now you got to figure out all over again, how am I going to get food, and how I'm going to take care of my bills and get to work and do all these things. So some type of transition. But I think once we all come collectively together and really like push forward, like, this is what we're going to do, and this is how we're going to change it, and we're going to stick together and do it together. That's it.
I want to say thank you again, guys. All your testimony stories is literally, this is why we're here. This is why we fight the things we do. My story background, I come from a single-headed household myself. My mother is Puerto Rican, my dad's Dominican, so he got deported when I was very young. I'm from New York City, from the Bronx. I was born in '84, so my mom literally traveled a lot of different states. Really, she was on drugs, guys. When she had me, she had drugs in her system, so I'm a product of, they call it crybaby. So what I say in my life, I have a strong list of lead. So when I have lead, I was homeless at 16 years old. My mom left me in Rochester. So I've been on my own since I was very young. So being a kid, you didn't have a birth certificate, didn't have a social security card. You basically was an immigrant yourself. So being a kid myself, I wanted to go to school, but I was worried about housing or being homeless as a kid and having things happen to me while I was going through these changes. I want to move forward, turning 18, going to DSS, guys. Oh my God, being happy, like that was the ticket of my life, to have my own home, to have somewhere to call home, for you to have a refrigerator, a microwave. You didn't know how to cook, but you have a microwave. You're gonna cook everything in this microwave. Guys, and I learned. So literally being 18, I started navigating. I had my kid at 2003, guys. I literally have 4 children. My son is 18 now, but fast forward all this stuff, I wanted to say I started as a parent advocate at schools. Not knowing schools, not knowing what zone means, what you need for your kids, that was a real struggle for me. I just picked schools because I heard Leadership Academy, or I heard it was gonna make amends, make kids be a man, helping them in community members. So what I found out that having kids come from elementary school to going to high school, guys, it was a barrier for our children. Having them go through different things in life, mental health and things in their life, I noticed that as a parent, I had to advocate for them. Me working with Food Link, being a volunteer, guys, I volunteer so many organizations. When I say our MAPI, Food Link, Healthy Moms, Salvation Army, the list goes on, Anti-Profit Initiative. Literally, as a mom, I'm so proud to be in this moment because I have these children and I'm setting a way for them and trying to change the narrative of being poverty and having these things happen to you. Right now, I don't receive cash assistance from DSS. So to me, I'm so proud just to say that I receive food stamps and Medicaid. I'm so thankful to have those things, but you're shifting that narrative of my children. I have a high school, he graduated early, guys, he's 18. Going to college, who's saying? Going to college, making different decisions in his life. Him being in a car, one of the kids being a Kia kid, going through the things that he was going through in his life. Having another kid being 16. And at Spiritus, when I say the community loves our kids, it's just route. You have to find the people that you have support. So when I think about Spiritus High School, guys, I think about them being our mentorship, our organization, rec centers, all walks of life, partners. So what I'm here for just to say, guys, please, organizations, keep collabing, keep helping our parents, keep helping our children, putting them first, and also understanding that as parents, we need to be at these tables just as well as everyone need to be at these tables. So thank you so much for this moment.
I think a lot of times being in this role, so I'm the director of programs at Teen Empowerment. Sometimes you forget sometimes like where you come from and what your experiences are when you focus so much on like the young people that you work with. But being in this space today reminded me, like, I grew up right around the corner on Concan Avenue D. That's where I grew up at. I grew up in a community that was plagued with violence, that was plagued with drugs. I had family members who struggled with those things. I had grandparents who were willing to step in and provide for me, who worked very hard to create a space for my sisters and I. I've been in foster care. And so growing up and coming into adulthood, it was difficult. I didn't know really what success looked like. My family had not experienced that. I didn't know what it meant to be middle class. I didn't know what those things, and I navigated all of those things by myself. I navigated purchasing a home. I navigated that by myself because I had never experienced that. And a lot of times when people would see me and they would find out like where I was from and what my experience were at the time, they would be like, "Oh, you poor thing." And so I come from a place of, my background is difficult. Yeah, my struggle was difficult. However, that makes me that much stronger. That makes my testimony that much better. And it makes me that much more qualified to do the work with the young people that I have a privilege of interacting with every single day because they come from a community that I come from. They come from very similar backgrounds that I come from. When my grandparents moved away after I graduated from high school, they was like, "See you later, we about." When they moved away, I was now in this world kind of alone, and I remember sleeping on people's couches but not realizing that I was homeless. I'm sleeping on a best friend couch, I'm going to a cousin house, I'm sleeping on their couch, never even realizing and recognizing what homelessness looked like. I don't even really know if I knew that I was in poverty. I was making like $400 every, few weeks, and I was trying to find my own place, but I couldn't afford any place to live. And so navigating that was so difficult, and it was such an isolating experience. Feeling like you don't have community in that moment. And then to hear these conversations and these people around you who are leaders in the communities telling you to pull up your bootstraps, but my boots don't got no straps, right? And so trying to do that was something that I wanted to help not only myself once I got through that phase, understanding that now that I'm a middle class woman, that I have a responsibility now to my community to help other young people come up from that place as well. And so now that I can decide where I want to live, I choose to live in the city. Right? Now that I can decide where I want to work, I choose to work in the city. I choose to send my children to city schools. I have 3 of those now, 3 of those things out in the world. And I, watch out, they're amazing, but I know I am very intentional about the life that I live, because I know that there were people in my life who spoke into me in moments where I felt alone. And so creating more opportunities, helping people to be able to navigate purchasing a home. There were programs out there that I wasn't even aware of that would support me in that process. And so we talk about accessibility, being having our community be able to access that information, have access to that information. Living in a community where it looks like a community, living in communities that are going to help you to build up communities that have been divested in, underinvested in, walking down streets. Like I live near Bay, that's where I live at now, walking down a street and looking at where this community has never been poured into, continues to not be poured into. Before I was born, it wasn't poured into. And so how do we work to change those things that are happening in our community? One way that I do it is by helping young people find employment, by not directing them to anyone else, but saying, here, come into teen empowerment and I'll give you a job to look at those issues and work to change those issues. Because what they're gonna do is they're gonna take that income and they're gonna take it back to their household, and they're gonna be able to help provide some support to their families so that they can continue to do that type of work in our community. And that's what we need to do. Create more job opportunities for young people, create more pathways to home ownership, create more employment opportunities for people who are coming out of incarceration, that are struggling with housing instability, create more opportunities, and eliminate the barriers. Eliminate the barriers. I have young people who cannot be employed because they need all of this stuff, but he got shot, he got a kid, he dropped out of school, and he's saying, I want to do something different now, but there's so many obstacles to even employing this young man. So we need to work strategically about eliminating those barriers so that we really can build generational wealth when you come from not having any wealth. And that's it.